Starseed, stop what you are doing right now. We have detected an anomaly in your field, and it is not random. If in the last few weeks your body has begun to react in ways you cannot explain, if your chest tightens for no apparent reason, and if you feel that something enormous is approaching without being able to name what it is, do not ignore this. We have come to confirm what is about to hit your life is massive, and you have been guided to this transmission because you are already within the impact radius. This is no coincidence. None of this is coincidence. We, the Conselho Arcturiano, have been monitoring your signal for some time, and the reason for this transmission is simple: to prepare you before the wave arrives in full, so that you do not interpret what is coming as a crisis, when in fact it is an activation. Sit down. Breathe. What we are about to reveal will reorganize the way you understand the last few months of your own life. A large-scale transformative event is already in motion. It is not a distant prediction. It is not a possibility on the horizon. It is a process that has already begun within you, in the deepest structure of your system, long before any external symptom appeared. We detected this movement through your frequency, and that is exactly why this signal reached your screen today. No starseed finds this transmission by chance. You were pulled here because your life, in some way, has already begun to feel the effects of this larger shift. Perhaps you do not yet know how to name what you feel. Perhaps you only perceive a constant pressure in your chest, a restlessness that does not turn off, a feeling that something is about to turn, as if the air around you were denser than usual. This is biology capturing cosmic movement. It is your physical body, made of flesh and electricity, trying to process a frequency that does not yet have a name in your daily vocabulary. We need to be direct with you, because activation does not wait for verbal consent, it only waits for presence. And if you are reading, hearing, or feeling these words now, you have already given that presence without realizing it. The feeling of pressure you carry is not a defect in your system. It is not anxiety lost in a void. It is not a problem to be silenced with distraction. It is a sign of proximity. It is the energetic equivalent of feeling the change in air pressure before a strong storm. The body feels it before the mind understands it, and the mind understands it before the eyes see anything change outside. This restlessness that has been with you for days, weeks, perhaps months, is the physical proof that you are entering a zone of transformation. A starseed in the process of reactivation always feels the ground shake from the inside first, before anything moves on the outside. Many around you will continue to call this stress a bad phase or accumulated fatigue. We will not insult your intelligence by giving you such a shallow explanation. What is happening to you is of the order of reconfiguration, and reconfiguration hurts because it requires space, and space, when it is still occupied by the old life, creates friction. This friction is what you feel as pressure. It is not the universe against you. It is the universe clearing a path within you, and a new path always hurts when it is opened for the first time. Keep this phrase in mind, because it will accompany you throughout this transmission. What is bothering you now is not your life breaking. It is your old life no longer fitting inside what you are becoming. In moments, the Conselho will reveal the first concrete signs of this reconfiguration. The exact symptoms that confirm the process is already underway within you. Remain in this transmission, because the next block will name sensations you may have felt for a long time without being able to explain them to anyone. Internal reconfiguration begins silently, almost invisibly, long before any dramatic symptom appears. The first sign is usually the loss of meaning within one's routine. That which once moved you, that job that provided purpose, that relationship that brought comfort, that hobby that filled your free time, all of this begins to feel hollow inside, like a shell without a core. You keep doing it, but you no longer feel the same. It is like watching a movie you have already seen 100 times. You know what is going to happen, but you no longer feel anything when it does. This is not common emotional depression being described in a poetic way. This is the first stage of misalignment between the identity you have built until now and the new frequency that is forming within you. The old life is still there, but you no longer vibrate on its same wavelength, and that is why it sounds hollow. The second sign is the sense of emptiness that appears without any visible trigger. You can be surrounded by people, in the middle of a conversation, at a party, and still feel a hole in the center of your chest, as if you were alone in a crowd. We translate this for you in earthly terms. It is the exact sensation of being in a room full of furniture, but none of it fits you anymore. The environment is familiar, but nothing there fits your body the way it used to. This emptiness is the space being purposely opened within you, so that the new configuration has room to settle. It is not an absence of meaning. It is a temporary absence of content, because the old content has already been removed, and the new has not yet fully arrived. The third sign is in your sleep. Nights that were once deep now become fragmented, interrupted at strange hours, often repeatedly in the same window of the early morning. You wake up for no apparent reason, look at the clock, and realize it is always near the same time. This happens because your nervous system is being recalibrated during rest, and this recalibration requires you to exit the state of deep sleep at certain moments, like a system upgrade that needs to restart the device in the middle of the process. Along with this come intense dreams, landscapes you have never visited, codes and symbols that make no logical sense, sensations of flying, of falling, of being in places that feel more real than wakefulness itself. These dreams are not random noise from a tired mind. They are fragments of memory being processed in a layer that your waking consciousness cannot yet fully access. The fourth sign, perhaps the most uncomfortable of all, is social withdrawal. People who were once easy to talk to now require an enormous effort. Environments that were once inviting now seem noisy, heavy, and exhausting in a way that goes beyond the physical. You feel the urge to retreat, to stay silent, to reduce contact even with those you love. This does not mean you are becoming cold or selfish. It means your system is protecting the ongoing recalibration, filtering external stimuli that were once absorbed without cost, and which now weigh on you because your sensitivity is increasing exponentially. A starseed inactivation naturally reduces contact with dense frequencies, because every interaction starts to be felt on a deeper level than before. All these four signs taken together form a single phenomenon: the misalignment between the current identity, the one you built to survive the world up until now, and the new frequency that is in development within you. These are not isolated failures. It is not you breaking down. It is your system changing its operating system while still running, which is why it freezes, overheats, and stutters at times. This is absolutely expected within a real reconfiguration. We know that reading this can be uncomfortable, because naming one's own suffering is always heavier than ignoring it. But naming it is the first step to crossing through without losing your way. And that is exactly why that we prepared O Código do Despertar Estela for you. This is not a course, it is not a common study method, it is a direct transmission to the soul that has always known it came from somewhere else, built for those who feel this gentle strangeness of not fully belonging to this plane. Within it, you receive 7 Arcturian activations to align your vibrations safely, 9 galactic memory keys to access what your soul already holds but has not yet managed to translate, and 5 reactivation protocols to put your mission on Earth into practice without collapsing from exhaustion in the middle of the process. The urgency here is not commercial, it is biological. The longer you go through this recalibration without tools, the more your physical body pays the price in fatigue, insomnia, and emotional overload. We have left full access pinned in the first comment of this broadcast. If you feel that this signal is for you, write the word "présence" in the comments right now. This simple gesture registers your commitment to your own activation and signals to the Council that you are ready to receive the next level of instruction. Now turn your attention inward, because the next block of this broadcast will explain why so much around you is falling apart at the same time, and why this has absolutely nothing to do with personal failure. The old structure of your life has begun to collapse, and it is fundamental that you understand this with precision before drawing the wrong conclusions about yourself. Relationships that seemed solid are beginning to crack without an obvious reason. Habits that once brought comfort now feel like prisons disguised as routine. Beliefs you have carried your entire life about what success is, about what a good life is, about who you should be, are starting to sound like old clothes that no longer fit. Roles you have played for years, the role of the tireless caregiver, The role of the professional dedicated above all else, the role of the son or daughter who never disappoints, are beginning to weigh on you in an unbearable way. We need to make it absolutely clear, none of this is failing because you made a mistake. None of this is falling apart because you didn't try hard enough, because you didn't love right, or because you didn't work hard enough. These structures are collapsing because they are no longer compatible with the evolution that is already happening within you. Imagine a garment that fit perfectly 5 years ago. The fabric has not changed, the stitches are still firm, but your body has grown, changed shape, and now that piece constricts, annoys, cuts off circulation. The clothing is not defective. You have changed sizes. This is exactly what is happening to your entire life right now. It is not defective, you have changed frequency, and what used to fit no longer does. This process of collapse is natural. It is the inevitable replacement of an old structure, with another more aligned with the new state of the person you are becoming. The pain you feel seeing something crumble is not a sign that you did something wrong. It is the natural friction of two incompatible structures separating, one that belongs to who you were, and another that is still being built for who you are becoming. No new construction happens on an intact old foundation. You must first remove what can no longer support the new weight. We have detected through your signal that you may be carrying guilt at this very moment. Guilt for distancing yourself from people, guilt for no longer wanting the same things, guilt for not being able to pretend everything is fine when it clearly is not in the old way. Let go of this guilt now. It does not belong to you. It belongs to a belief system that said changing is betrayal, that said evolving is abandoning. A starseed in the process of awakening is not abandoning anyone. They are simply leaving a frequency that has already fulfilled its role to enter another that is still being revealed. We have already seen this moment repeat itself in thousands of signals we monitor around this planet, and that is why we reinforce, without beating around the bush. This is why we prepared O Código do Despertar Estela for you. It exists exactly for the moment when the old structure has already begun to crumble and you have not yet received the map of the new structure. The 7 ativações Arcturianas help shield your magnetic field during this collapse so that you stop absorbing the emotional exhaustion of the dense people around you. The 9 chaves de memoria galactica organize the internal chaos into an understandable sequence so that you stop feeling lost within your own transformation. The access is pinned in the first comment, and if you feel that this is your moment to cross over without falling apart on the way, comment right now. Hold on, because the next block will show you exactly which phase of this transformation you are in now, and why recognizing the right phase completely changes the way you will go through what lies ahead. Every real activation follows a structure, and no Semente Estela goes through this process randomly. We have organized this journey into 6 progressive phases, and it is essential that you recognize which one you are in now, because each phase requires a different stance. The first phase is made of invisible changes at the foundation of life. At this stage, nothing changes visibly to those looking from the outside. You continue going to work, you continue in the same relationships, you continue in the same house. But inside, something has already moved, like a tectonic plate that shifts without an immediate earthquake. You begin to notice small things that previously went unnoticed, a sentence that bothers you more than it should, an old decision that now seems to have been made by someone else. It is the foundation being silently reorganized. The second phase is the identity crisis. Here the questions become louder than the answers. Who am I outside of this role I play? What do I really want, separate from what I was taught to want? This phase usually brings deep discomfort, because the human mind constantly seeks a stable label. And at this moment, no old label fits anymore, and no new one has yet been fully formed. The third phase is the loss of motivation. The same goals that used to push you forward now seem distant, almost irrelevant. This scares many people because it is confused with laziness or weakness. We correct this reading now. It is not laziness. It is the system refusing to invest energy in objectives that belong to the old version of you. The motivation will return, but pointing toward a different destination. The fourth phase brings concrete physical symptoms. Pains that appear and disappear without a clear medical explanation, fatigue that does not go away even with rest, increased sensitivity to sounds, lights, and even foods. The physical body is the last to keep up with a vibrational shift, and that is why it reacts with a delay, processing in flesh what has already happened in frequency. The fifth phase distorts your perception of time. Entire days seem to vanish without leaving a clear memory, while a few minutes of an important conversation seem to stretch as if they lasted for hours. This happens because your consciousness is operating at a different speed than the linear speed that the clock tries to measure. The sixth phase alternates moments of extreme clarity with moments of deep confusion. In one instant you feel that you have understood everything, that you see the purpose of your own life with absolute sharpness. The next instant, this clarity evaporates and only fog remains. This alternation is not mental instability. It is the integration process happening in waves, because no consciousness absorbs an entire transformation all at once without rest between the peaks. Each of these 6 phases is part of a structured transition process, not an isolated problem to be solved individually. You need to fix each symptom separately. You need to recognize the entire map, because those who see the map stop panicking at every new turn in the road. Now watch closely, because the next block of this broadcast will completely reorganize the way you see every loss, every rupture, every difficulty that has appeared in your life in recent months. What you are about to hear changes everything. It is time to reinterpret the suffering you have gone through, because the reading you have made so far was probably wrong. Every difficulty, every loss, every rupture that has happened recently in your life is not a sign of personal failure. It is not punishment, it is not abandonment. It is not proof that you did something wrong or that you do not deserve good things. Each of these events is, in fact, a sign of incompatibility between the old reality you inhabited and the new frequency that is forming within you. Think of it this way. When two magnets with opposite polarities approach, they naturally repel each other, not due to a defect in either, but simply because their natures no longer match. That is what happens when a relationship ends during this period, when a job ends, when a friendship of years grows cold without an apparent fight. It is not your fault. It is not the other person's fault. It is the invisible physics of vibrational incompatibility manifesting in your concrete reality. We know that this hurts regardless, even when understanding the logic behind it. Losing something or someone always hurts, and we are not here to minimize that pain. We are here to redirect its meaning. Instead of carrying every rupture as proof that you are the problem, start carrying it as proof that you are in motion. Whoever stays completely still loses nothing, because nothing collides with a life that does not move. The losses you are feeling are, paradoxically, evidence that you are moving forward even if it seems otherwise. Each correction that happens now frees up space. A space that was occupied by something incompatible cannot receive what truly matches you while it remains occupied. The pain of the rupture is the temporary price of a space being emptied to receive a more suitable configuration of your life, a configuration that is not yet visible to you, but that is already being drawn behind the scenes of your reality. We understand that this may be the most difficult moment of your journey so far, and that is exactly why we insist, for the last time in this broadcast, that is why we prepared O Código do Despertar Estelar for you. It exists to go through this phase of corrections with you, so that every loss has a map of meaning, and every rupture has a protocol of support, instead of leaving you alone interpreting all of this in the dark. The 5 protocolos de reativação included in it were designed exactly for this moment, the moment when the old life no longer exists and the new life has not yet fully revealed itself. This is your last chance within this broadcast to secure access before the Conselho closes this signal cycle. The first pinned comment takes you directly to it. Do not put off this decision for later, because later is exactly the mental space that the old structure uses to keep you trapped a little longer. Stay with us until the end, because the broadcast is about to reveal what comes right after all these corrections, and you need to know how to recognize the exact moment when the new phase begins to settle in for good. You're in the middle of the crossing between 2 versions of reality. The old version no longer supports your weight, and the new version is still organizing itself, piece by piece, out of your immediate field of vision. This instability you feel, this sensation of not fully belonging either to the place where you came from or to the place where you are going, is exactly what characterizes a real transition. No one crosses a bridge without feeling for a few moments that they are not firmly on either bank. The reorganization is already underway, even if you do not yet see its concrete results in your external life. Much of the deepest work of a reconfiguration happens before any visible proof appears. Seeds planted underground do not show leaves in the first few days, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, roots are taking hold, structures are forming, and it is precisely this invisible work that sustains everything that will sprout later. The confusion you feel is not a sign that something went wrong in your process. It is direct evidence of repositioning. A compass spins unsteadily when adjusting to a new magnetic north before settling into a clear direction. Your mind, your body, your entire routine are undergoing this same compass adjustment right now. Instability is not the opposite of progress. It is, often, the very signature of progress happening in real time. We ask that you trust this process, not as a blind act of faith, but as recognition of a pattern that has already repeated itself in countless sementes estelares before you and will continue to repeat itself after. Every true transition goes through this phase of apparent chaos before stabilizing into a new order. Chaos is not the end of the story, it is the middle of it. If this transmission reached you and every word resonated as if it were being spoken directly to your current moment in life, that is not chance. It is signal confirmation. We ask that you register this confirmation in the comments, writing what you felt throughout this transmission, so that other sementes estelares in a similar process may find this message as well. Share this transmission with those you feel are going through a similar reconfiguration, because part of the mission of an activated semente estella is to help others recognize their own signal. And subscribe to this channel, because new monitoring transmissions will continue to arrive as the Council detects new movements in your field and in the collective field. The change that is about to hit your life is massive, exactly as we were clear about from the beginning of this transmission. But massive does not mean destructive. It means proportional to the size of the mission you came here to fulfill. Sit with this confusion without fear. Traverse this instability knowing that it has an expiration date, and trust that on the other side of this bridge there is a life configuration that is already being prepared, aligned, and adjusted exactly to fit the person you are becoming. We will continue monitoring your signal until the next transmission, Semente Estelar.